Respected Director, Mr. Rana Singh, and the HR luminaries on the dais, distinguished faculty, guests, and their students. It's it's actually a nostalgia to be, addressing, uh, especially students, in a conclave like this. Uh, and it was lovely to listen to Ranjanji, and and one thing I would add is all good leaders, they make things very simple, and they have a way of conveying, communicating things through stories, and this has been my learning long back, but it gets reinforced often when I listen to leaders like Ranjanji, and some lovely insights on how results matter. I mean, I can keep on repeating this, and how we get out of our comfort zone. My entire career has been, from getting out from one comfort zone to one, to a place where you face certain uncertainty, challenges, and then get back after some time, get into that zone, enjoy that zone for some time, and then be restless and get out. So I think that was wonderful listening to him, especially some techniques about interviewing. I mean, it was beautiful the way he explained. How you can lead an interview instead of the interviewer asking questions. So always felt there's a whole world of knowledge out there, and I wouldn't know much. The interviewer can ask anything, but it was a wonderful listening to him, that how you can lead an interview. It is a very good lesson for the students, especially when they keep want to get into some new jobs. In that, I would like to add, since a little bit of my background, I've been in business and HR for equal amount of time, and I'm reasonably successful uh, in business as well as in HR. I think more in business, because when people ask me, or sometimes in one of the panel discussions, they ask me, uh, what would you prefer? As a board, you want to become a director of marketing, a choice is given. You want to become a director of marketing or director HR? And I said, I would like to become director of marketing. So I said, ऐसा क्यों? So मैंने कहा, see, if I am director of marketing, I can practice HR there, But when I'm director HR, I would be restricted to, my HR domain, and especially on the executing part in marketing. So with this, kind of background, I was, one, in fact, we would like to give messages at our stage of life. So one message is, the HR people should also be ready to get into business, at least for some time, for them to understand business. In my company, I have made this. The moment an HR person is posted here, he would go to the field and learn business. And the experience, even in Indian Oil, we had this kind of practice. And then we used to see some people resisting, that we are from HR, why are you sending us into, operations or, sales or some places? But I think to a person to be successful HR in this particular age and in this particular, world, they need to be a part of business. Understanding is one part. They should get business into their core. It's, the kind of changes I've seen, HR over the last 30, 40 years, change from, totally IR dominated and involved in many administrative tasks, payroll, execution of welfare policies, and of course, appraisals, training, and recruitment. Some of them remain, but the emphasis has now shifted. So from the service function to a business enabler, HR being considered as a business enabler, now it's like being a strategic partner in a business. So I always, these days it is like HR and business. No, HR is business. So, so in that context, it is necessary that the, the moment we are posted in a company, and if we're given a business posting, I think that should be taken in that right spirit. That's a part of learning, because that is the Karam Bhumi, where all your HR policies get implemented, whether they become successful or unsuccessful. That is the place. So now more the emphasis is shifting more into skilling, and looking at business needs, how you would the latest skills which are required, how you would enable people to learn those skills and drive engagement. It's very important these days, especially in the days of in these days of distraction from this from especially from mobiles. It's very important that we HR as and can drive engagement through different means, and for that it needs to get into business again, because we cannot drive engagement unless you have a pulse of the business. Then building leadership pipeline, that has become very important now. Like for every stage of leadership change, a transition of a leadership from managing self to managing others and managing managers and getting to manage a group of companies. Each transition requires a different kinds of skill. So developing a pipeline plus identifying people, the various tools available, the simulation tools, and feedback, designing of feedback. So these are important competencies which HR people need to get these days. So that a leadership pipeline for the company which they are working, it is made, and especially the role of HR. Always said, HR ka role kya? What is HR? In my view, just like a finance, role of finance, nobody questions. It's a custodian of financial resources of the company. Similarly, HR is a custodian of human resources, as well as the company values. And over these years, we are understanding the importance of having, of guarding zealously the values which have taken a company from a small stage to a bigger stage, where the culture builds up around these values. And we have seen that जो ये culture बनता है, it's very difficult to build a culture of performance, of treating people, along with performance, of treating people with dignity. ये दोनों जरा सा when this kind of culture is built around certain basic values, like in Bharat Petroleum, we have 7 values. And most of the values, if you look at, in companies, like we have value of involvement of people, then innovation, then we have customer centricity, care, trust, ethics, and development of people, involvement, collaboration, and development. Now, in these values itself, once you look at it, 4 of the values center around, 100%, center around human resources. So that is where, the importance of maintaining these values, it's core to the company. And long before, somewhere in, especially petroleum industry has been, very lucky in that matter. Got good visionaries were there. who would bring in, HR at the board level, very incipient stages, 70s, 80s, mein, HR was given a position on the board. So that is the kind of importance, HR was given them. And long before, when we listen to this, instead of customer first, employee first, long before that, in Bharat Petroleum, we had coined, this people above oil. And that is where HR is placed, It, it is a it's a core of a business. Then certain things, which I think one needs to understand at our levels. I would add to Ranjanji's message, about marketing oneself. So, like he said, there are formula of getting recognized, and trying to find a good boss, which is very, very important according to me, because your 70% or 80% of your waking life you spent in a workplace. And if that 70%, if you have a wrong kind of a boss, it's very, very difficult to maintain your sense of balance and uh, manage that kind of stress. It is tremendously stressful. So this is one wonderful thing, that how to find a good boss for yourself, so people fight for you. Where there I would add is, one needs to market oneself, especially when in my company also, I said that responsibility that you would be recognized is yours. Normally, there is a view, जैसे आप लोग आते हैं बड़ा आइडियलिस्टिक सेटिंग से, तो आपको लगता है कि हमने मेहनत किया, जैसे मेहनत किया है और एग्जाम अच्छा लिखा है और मार्क्स आएंगे और टॉप करूंगा या नंबर 2 रहूंगा या नंबर 5 रहूंगा, जो भी है, तो मेहनत का फल उधर क्लियर है. So there you need not do anything, it is automatic. But when we come to an industry, the thing that जो market करना है वो responsibility आपकी है. Otherwise, if you say मैंने तो बहुत मेहनत किया था, and I did a lot of work, but पता नहीं company में, they have not recognized me. So for me, the first question I asked is, how did you market yourself? We are told to market products. We are told to market this. We are told to package this, and it is seen as a very wonderful thing. So if we are not able to market ourselves, to wo blame karna, that's another level when people start blaming, and then the vicious cycle starts. And people don't like, to listen to blame and, to listen to excuses. So this is one message I would say. It's very, it may not sound very nice, or idealistic, but it is my belief that one needs to market oneself, and the responsibility for getting recognized is ours. So another thing, which I have a view, HR के भी special skills होते हैं. HR के skills खाली ये नहीं है कि आपको benefit administration है, or go and allow certain things to happen, appraisals का workflow manage करना है. Luckily, these things these days have become automated, and I always felt it was very mundane things, for people of our caliber to engage in. तो वो एक अलग ही कंफर्ट जोन में आदमी रह जाता है कि यू आर डिस्पेंसिंग थिंग्स हियर एंड देयर, उसको बिल क्लियर करना, ये पॉलिसी उसको इंटरप्रेट करना. बट नाउ लकीली विद द एडवेंट ऑफ दिस टेक्नोलॉजी EHR, these things have actually gone down to, in fact it was gone down to nil, and where very little HR intervention is necessary. So it has given time, for HR to indulge and to look into bigger aspects, strategic aspects of HR. So ये जो हम लोगों का भी टाइम मिला है, so it needs to be embraced. And when we look at the new technologies which are coming in, we have made, I mean, industries, abhi to it is very, जो AI वगैरह generative है ये कह रहे हैं, people, we have made, very little progress there, but we are certainly going in that direction, which when the youngsters who are coming can look up to this. Okay, analytics is okay. We have been using analytics, HR analytics. One thing which, I would just give a practical example of what AI, how we used AI in HR is profiling, leadership model, successful leadership model. And looking at 45 parameters, right? From, appraisals, feedback, and then from assessment centers, development centers, ke jo feedback hai. So 45 data points. Using them, we ran an AI, we used an AI tool to model a successful leadership profile, which is, relevant to Bharat Petroleum. And then based on that, we ran the profiles of various people we had and it gave us through us some names. And then, of course, we went into this machine learning thing that ये जो AI दे रहा है and actually क्या है, so how it can be actually validated. So we just started, and I think it is got a great future there. It's giving, I cannot say astounding results, but the results are very, near to what we expected. And some of the things which we are not expected, I mean, it reduces the kind of bias which we have in selecting leaders. So this is very, 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 it was it was a revelation that this can be used for, this kind of, leadership development. So this is the future. And the future is, I would look at the future is really bright, and it's a high tech even in HR. That's what I can say. It's not a HR seen as a but a mundane thing. HR is going to be looked at a high tech function, especially since it's dealing with humans, and it makes that much more complicated. So similarly, they say L&D maybe when we started having a personalized learning journeys we made. So how is it different from जो college से अलग कैसे हमारे learning? How we make it different? It is by making a personalized learning journey using your intelligence, and to give a person a learning module the time when the person is ready for that or needs it. That is the key. So again, we've been very successful in this, especially here and even in Indian Oil, where we have a huge e-learning portal with lots of learning content. But content to both hai. But when a person needs, at that time, wo content unko milna chahiye. No, that is where the technology is helping us. Similarly, recruitment and a lot of places where we are seeing. So I would say the future is very, very bright for HR professionals. And especially one more thing, once you get into this HR function, there are lots of other skills which currently you may not get at the academic institutes where you need to get. Like Ranjanji was also saying that how constant learning, and relearning, I mean, it's very important. So the various skills, like, we are in the market, which are very much valued, the counseling skills, you have this mentoring skills, coaching skills, and facilitation, how you facilitate a meeting, or how you facilitate, vision, how you facilitate alignment of people in a group, how you diagnose where a team is having a problem, and what kind of, interventions can we have. Now, how you would look at, developing self-awareness among the leaders. How would you look at, having human resource labs, a laboratory. So these kinds of things, if one can, and how you look at a structure, organization structure, to get a certain result, what kind of structure is required. So these type of skills, they need to be developed. So ye rukega nahi. Like Ranjan ji said, the entire lifetime. I mean, right now I'm going through a course in design thinking, which is simply stupendous the way design thinking is bringing people at the center of design. And at this age and at this stage, I'm myself going through the design thinking course. So this is how we look at our future in HR. And I think lastly, companies also as a HR आपका काम है कि branding, employer branding है. Why should people join a company? HR has to play a great role in that. So this is what I would end my. I think I've already crossed my time. Thank you so much for being a patient, giving me a patient listening, and thank you, Vibhash, for calling me out here. Thank you very much.